Welcome back, everyone. The iPhone SE third generation ended up coming out officially, so let's go ahead and compare it against the iPhone 11 Pro and see which specific iPhone you should go and pick up. Now, I've been talking a lot about the 11 Pro. I think it's a great value, but the iPhone SE 3 is the cheapest iPhone you can go and pick up. Both these iPhones are around the same price, the 11 Pro in the used market, and I think it's quite obvious which one I like more. I will leave both these phones linked in the description. You can get them from there and help support the channel at the same time. Now, in the front of something like the iPhone 11 Pro, you have a beautiful Super Retina OLED display, and it is one of my favorite panels Apple's ever made. I do like the 120 Hz that we have nowadays. I can't seem to find the right brightness, but you do have the notch up top, which isn't really that big of a deal. You have a little bit of bezel around it, but this iPhone still feels so premium. The back of this iPhone had a frosted glass back, which was the first iPhone to bring it, which was really cool. But overall, it still feels very premium. It does not feel like a cheap phone at all. With the iPhone SE 3, it doesn't feel like a cheap phone either. I mean, this one still looks very, very, it feels very premium still, but unfortunately it doesn't really look that good. 4.7-inch IPS panel on the front of this, bezel on the top and bottom, home button right here with Touch ID. I love Touch ID. I even kind of like the home button to some extent, but I'm not a huge fan of the design of this phone anymore. And for $429, I honestly think Apple can do a little bit better, if I'm being completely honest. Now, in terms of thickness and thickness, the iPhone 11 Pro is definitely the thicker phone, but it does come with a bigger battery, which is really cool. With something like the iPhone SE 3, it is a slimmer phone, but it's definitely a slimmer phone. Let me just say it like that. But you do have the stainless steel band on the 11 Pro, which feels better. On the back, we have glass backs on both, but like I mentioned, you do have the frosted glass back on the iPhone 11 Pro, and this was easily one of my favorite backs on this iPhone. It feels so good in the hand, and I'm just so happy about it. With the iPhone SE 3, the standard glass back still feels really good. The single camera setup on the SE 3 here, triple camera setup on the iPhone 11 Pro, wireless charging on both, IP certification on both as well, lightning ports at the bottom, and definitely when it comes down to the outside, they're both very premium feeling phones, but the iPhone 11 Pro definitely feels more premium than that, the SE 3. Now, interestingly enough, when it comes down to the longevity between both, the iPhone 11 Pro is in a very interesting situation because it looks and feels so much better than the iPhone SE 3, but because Apple does their versions of software based on the chipsets inside, the iPhone 11 Pro is probably not going to last as long as the iPhone SE 3. Now, how much longer, we don't know. It's not going to be like 30 years. I mean, the SE 3 has a chipset that's two versions newer than the 11 Pro. I think the 11 Pro could last, maybe 1 year less than the SE 3, something like that. But the SE 3 has the higher likelihood, and it's probably going to outlast the iPhone 11 Pro, which is very interesting to see. You typically would see an iPhone like this and you wouldn't think it would last that long or it would be outdated or something, but that isn't really the case. The iPhone SE 3 is pretty much here to stay, and it's going to be here for many, many years to come. So when it comes down to that, the iPhone 11 Pro, it still looks good, it feels good and everything, but the iPhone SE 3 is the iPhone that's going to be lasting longer. So definitely something to keep in mind. Now let's go and do a speed comparison between both these phones. The iPhone SE 3, like I mentioned, has that Apple A15 Bionic chip inside of it with 4 gigabytes of RAM. With the iPhone 11 Pro, it has that Apple A13 Bionic chip inside of it with 4 gigabytes of RAM as well. So let's go and see which one is the faster iPhone between both of these. Okay, there we go. Hopefully you guys can see both these iPhones because I can't really see them. Clearing out all the apps. The iPhone SE 3 is cleared out. The iPhone 11 Pro is getting cleared out as we speak. And there we go. So all the apps are clear on the background. So let's get into it. Let's do phone calls. 3, 2, 1. And there we go. Hopping out of this one. Let's go and get into music. 3, 2, 1. And I totally messed that one up. So let's go and get into both here. Let's do clock. 3, 2, 1. And there we go. Hopping out of this one. Let's go and get into photos. 3, 2, 1. And kind of the same thing on both. I'm getting kind of the same vibe between both, which is very interesting. Let's do cameras. 3, 2, 1. And kind of the same thing. Let's go and take a photo. 3, 2, 1. And even though the SE3 was on live mode, it was much faster. I don't know what's going on here with the iPhone 11 Pro. That was very strange. I was expecting night mode on both, so the SE3 kind of messed up there. And as always, we can do podcasts. 3, 2, 1. And I think the 11 Pro might have been a little bit faster there, but it was very, very close. As always, we have a bunch of these third-party applications we can go and test out. Facebook 3, 2, 1. And the SE3 was faster there. Bofa 3, 2, 1. And we did get into a pop-up here. I think we're going to get into pop-ups on both, so let's go and hop out of that one. Temple Run 2, 3, 2, 1. Now, these are on two different versions of Temple Run, so we'll have to keep that in mind as we continue on, but I don't think it's going to be a crazy big deal. The 11 Pro is, I guess, faster than the iPhone SE 3 here, which is very interesting. They're both also doesn't seem like connected to Wi-Fi right now either, which is very weird. But the 11 Pro is actually faster than my iPhone SE 3 right now, which is very, very strange. Hopping out of this one. Try Fruit Ninja 3, 2, 1. And there's not really one that's looking to be way faster. I think both of these are going to time out. Okay, well, the iPhone SE3 timed out first, and the iPhone 11 Pro is right after. So the SE3 is faster, for this game, which is good. We like to see a newer phone being faster than the older one. Quizlet 321, almost identically the same, but the SE3 may have been faster. Dropbox 321, and this one did glitch up a little bit on the SE3, so totally okay. Twitter 321, and the iPhone SE3 is faster. So we're kind of seeing a reoccurring trend here. I think the iPhone 11 Pro is actually still extremely fast. It's way faster than I thought, but I think the iPhone SE3 is clearly the winner. I think it's probably more faster than the iPhone SE3 more times than not. But I would still say that the iPhone 11 Pro is more than fast enough. If you're not comparing them side by side, you're really not going to be noticing those big of differences. So when it comes down to the speed between both, yeah, I would probably say the iPhone SE3 is faster, but the iPhone 11 Pro is still a very, very fast phone when it comes down to it. So that covers it up there. Now let's go and hit on the cameras. And as I mentioned before, the iPhone 11 Pro has that triple camera setup on the back, that wide, ultra-wide, and telephoto lens. The iPhone SE3 has that single wide angle lens. Both can do 4K at 60 on the back, but the iPhone 11 Pro can do 4K at 60 on the front. The iPhone SE3, on the other hand, cannot do 4K at 60 on the front. Now, the iPhone 11 Pro's camera, I personally used this phone for a year, a little bit over a year, and this was a very good camera. This thing can pretty much do everything you want it to do. That 4K at 60 on the front and the back is still what we have in this day and age, which is really important. You're also getting things like portrait mode, which is still in the SE3. You're getting slow-mo, time-lapse, all these other modes as well. These are very solid options. These are great camera qualities, and I love having this type of capability. This is, in my opinion, still a top-tier camera. If you're wanting a phone with one of the best cameras out right now, well, you can't really go wrong with something like this. This is still a very solid phone, and it's easily a no-brainer in my opinion. Now, with something like the iPhone SE third generation, I don't really think this is a bad phone. I don't think it's a bad camera, but when compared to something like the iPhone 11 Pro, this just doesn't take the cake. 1080p on the front, which isn't that great, but 4K at 60 on the back is good, but you only have a single lens. You saw in my iPhone 11 Pro, you had the ability of zooming in and zooming out a lot on that camera. Unfortunately, with this type of phone, you don't really have that capability, which again is okay, but for a phone like this, these are kind of in the same price range right now. Used market here, brand new market here. It's very surprising to me that a phone like the iPhone SE3, or it's more surprising that a phone like the 11 Pro is doing this good still, where technically a brand new budget phone can't really keep up in my opinion. So the 11 Pro definitely wins in terms of camera. And the 11 Pro also kind of wins in battery as well. If I factory reset my iPhone 11 Pro, that would definitely be a much better battery life than my iPhone SE3 for sure. So when it comes down to these two phones, I'm going to definitely tell you, I think the iPhone 11 Pro is the winner. If I had to choose one, I would much rather have an iPhone 11 Pro than an iPhone SE third generation. Not trying to say the SE third generation is a horrible phone or anything, but this iPhone pretty much has it all. It's a great build quality, tremendous display, it still looks beautiful, and I think this is a very, very good phone for sure. With something like my iPhone SE3, like I mentioned, I don't think it's a bad phone, but I think it's just a weird phone for the price tag. I'm just not really happy with that 429, and the iPhone 11 Pro seems to me that it's the better phone overall. In a couple years, though, probably 4 years from now, the 11 Pro is going to be unsupported with software, and the iPhone SE3 is still going to be around. That may be when you should go pick this phone up, but I think the 11 Pro, I would much rather buy it in the used market than my iPhone SE3. So that kind of covers it up there. If you have any other questions or anything, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.